Hi all, let's have a look at another amazing game in a chess nutshell. This is a game Alexander Hoffmann against Alexander Petrov. Petrov as in the player that invented, well, got his name for the Petrov defense, which is knight f3, knight f6. But in this game, do we get Petrov? So some information from chess.com about Alexander Petrov. He learned to play chess at the age of 4. So he was born actually in 1794 and he died 1867 at the age of 73 years old. So he learned at the age of 4 and was St. Petersburg's best player by the age of 20. He won matches against Karl Friedrich von Jenisch in the 1840s, Prince Sergei Senovich Urasov in 1853 and 1859, and Ilya Shumov in 1862. A player of GM strength, Petrov analysed with Karl Friedrich von Jenisch the opening that later became known as the Petrov defence. That's what I've mentioned as C42. But in this game, after e4, e5, knight f3, Petrov actually played knight c6. Okay, so let's see, in this game, bishop c4, we have actually okay piano. Now with bishop c5, c3, knight f6, d4, e takes, and this is seen quite a lot, e5. Now usually d5 is played here by far. That's the biggest, most popular move, d5, hitting back at the bishop. For example, like this, bishop b5, knight e4, c takes, and there's been a lot of games from this position, for example. But here, after e5, actually we get a much rarer move. And in fact, in Chess-Based Live Book, it only indicates one game of a high level, so it's pretty rare. And the reason is bishop d5. Yeah, it seems to embarrass the knight. Whoops. Where's the knight going? It hasn't got any squares here. Petrov actually gives it up. Knight takes f2 to get a couple of pawns here at least. Check from the bishop. We have now a situation where bishop e3, there might be taking and c takes b2. That's horrible for the rook. So king g3, c takes b2, bishop takes, knight e7. And now white may have gone slightly wrong here with the move knight g5. Yeah, this might be technically a mistake. So in this position, yeah, knight g5, it seems like lucrative, but let's quickly check this. h3 or queen c2, these are all moves which, yeah, white's doing fine there until knight g5 technically. Now what happens here is fascinating. Knight takes d5 hits the knight, so there's no time for queen takes d5, but white was banking on knight takes f7, and now clearly, if king takes, then there's queen d5, queen takes d5 check, for example. So that doesn't seem great. So what can Petrov do in this position? So black to play, what would you play in this position if I give you 5 seconds, starting from now? Okay, black actually just castled. He gave up his queen. So 2 pieces are on the knight. So queen takes, rook takes might be okay for black, because there's also things like queen g5 check around the corner which are dangerous. So white's actually took the queen, and now we have the forcing move bishop f2 check. And now, after king h3, another forcing move, d6 check. But now, this is blocked, resourcefully, it seems, by the knight and the pawn to give white a bit of time. If white gets a bit of time, he might be setting up, you know, g3 and king g2, the escape. But here, black plays knight f4 check, bringing the king up the board. Now, knight takes e6, and the threat now is knight g5 check, sorry, rook f4 check, followed by knight g5 check. I want to put that on the board. Say this, then check. There's only one move, and then this would be mate. This would be double check and mate. So that's the threat. So here, white took on e6, bishop takes e6, check, and the king's driven up the board. Rook f5 check, and here, can you guess? If I give you 5 seconds, black's play. Okay, he doesn't just go for the queen here with, say, rook d5. He actually plays h5 check, and there's not too many options. And now, rook f3, double check, and mate. Yeah, a stunning game there from Alexander Petrov. Pretty sweet. That knight takes f7, you know, castling, just castling casually. Pretty sweet game there, I hope you'll agree. So that was back in Warsaw, 1844. A magnificent game by someone who's, yeah, that Petrov the fence. His name's after Petrov. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions, likes appreciated. Thanks very much.